Hello again. On the bench I've got a pile of ironwork, and it's an old Hobbies fretwork machine which I've taken apart and I'm going to renovate it. I've had this machine since I was a young lad. It was my grandfather's back in the 1900s when he practiced fretwork. It was also my dad's, and my dad used it just after the Second World War to make toys that he would sell, wooden toys and things, and calendars and various items. And then I took hold of it. I used to use a hand frame, but I took hold of this fretwork machine, and I've had it for all those years, since probably about the late 1960s. I've stored it away. I have used it, but I thought it was about time I give it a going over, because it was all getting all rusty and dusty and everything. So I've taken it apart, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to refurbish it as best I can. Not completely, I shan't respray it I don't think, but I'll just clean it up and get it going again and show how it works and compare it with the modern machines. I've also got these two arms here. I replaced these some years ago with some ash wood, which is quite pliable, but as you can see over the years it has got bent and distorted, which is no good. But I sorted about and I actually found the original arms, which are, I think they're made of beech by the looks of things. That looks like a bit of beech to me. Those are the original ones that came on the machine well over 100 years ago. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace these replacement ones with the original beech ones and get it going again. So I probably won't show myself doing it all because it's not that interesting, but I will show the final results when it's done. It's really well made. Some of the parts are very heavy, like this flywheel here, massively built. You can tell it's one of the early ones because it's got spoke wheels. Even the little hand wheel is a spoke wheel, which was only evident on the very, very early Hobbies fretwork machines. Later ones used a solid wheel. Well, that's all the parts anyway, so I'm going to spend a bit of time cleaning those up. I've still got the original manual that came with, if you call it a manual, it's just a leaflet, how to assemble the Hobbies fretwork machine, which is the original leaflet or pamphlet that came with the saw when it was first sold. It's got a bit weather worn now. It's had sellotape on there to join it together, and on the back there's an exploded diagram of all the various parts on the actual machine. A lot of people today won't have heard of Hobbies, but they were a wonderful company. They were started around the early 1890s and gradually developed into the world-renowned Hobbies company. I've got some things here. They were famous for doing all these complex designs and things. Whoops, the wrong way. This is one of the Hobbies designs. I've got many hundreds of these I've collected over the years. I've been collecting these since I was a boy, actually, because I think they're wonderful. The way somebody spent a lot of time. I can't open it out. You can see the condition of this. This particular design here is dated 1923, and it's still in amazing condition, as you can see, for 1923. It's kept all that well. What I like about them is there are two actual designs on here. They're quite intricate. This is actually a simple one compared to some they did. What I like about it is this was before computers and things and printers and everything. This was all drawn by hand. They had draftsmen sitting in an office somewhere, and every week they'd produce at least one design. They had a weekly magazine called Hobbies Weekly, and they put one of these designs in every week. And I think it's really wonderful how they spent the time doing it, which is one of the reasons why I've kept them. I'm not going to talk too much about Hobbies. I don't know why I'm rabbiting on, because I actually plan to do a little video talking about the Hobbies company, because I like the company themselves. Here's one or two little books I've got here that they produced, little fretwork books and things. This one here is dated 1913, How to Work in Wooden Metals with a Fret Saw. There were two main companies involved in fretwork, the two major companies. One was the Hobbies company of Dereham in Norfolk, and in those days, right up till the 1960s, if you mentioned the word Dereham, everybody thought of Hobbies, and if you ever mentioned the word Hobbies, people thought of Dereham. They were that famous. This is one of the Hobbies annuals or catalogues they produced. They produce one of these every year. This is from 1927. They're quite rare now. Contains all the designs and things. I've been collecting these for years. There's the A1 machine, but if you can see I'm not sure whether you can see it from that camera, but there's a solid wheel, whereas mine's a spoke wheel. So that's the Hobbies one. And the other company was the Handicrafts company, and they were similar to Hobbies. In fact, they were founded by people who worked for Hobbies and left and started a rival company up. But as I say, I won't go into too many details because I'm going to do a proper video on those companies at some point, and I'm also working on a website. Well, that's enough for now. So I'll say goodbye, and I'll come back and do another film when I finish the machine. I've got it all put together so you can see what it is, and I'll show you it working.